Cool. Let's start. And so today's topic is gonna be like we're gonna take a break from the tour blog because it's so. I know you get so sick of it already. Yeah, don't worry, we will come back to the tour blog next week for some additional feature, for some more location, and for some testing. Testing is very important though. Like your employer will ask, do you know any testing technique, or do you have any skill with testing, automation test, or like unit test, right? So next week we're gonna learn unit test. But for now, let's take a break from the tour blog. Right. Before we jump into today's topic, let's talk about what we have learned yesterday. So before that, let me ask: do you have any like question about yesterday lab filter or pagination? Have you done it, or have you like run into any problems? No, really? Everyone finished all of that? Alright. So it's pretty straightforward, and I think Nhân did that. Okay, Hưng and Nhân already done that. Yeah, the filter is very important. Just yeah, I will send you the link later. The filter is very important, so I want you guys to finish that. Don't skip it, right? So before we move on, let's talk about the 4 types of Mongoose middleware. Right, what are they? What are they? We actually learn document middleware and query middleware. The other two are very, like, we rarely run into them, so I didn't introduce them. But okay, so the 2 most important is are document middleware and query middleware. So for each of them, we will have different disks. Let me show you the code here first. What is this? All right. So they have different disks. And what is this? This is like it's refer to the object or the function, and this change depending on the scope, right? Let me show you. It should be in tool, right? No, in tool, and in tool you're gonna have this. You have this. You have a bunch of this here, and let me show you which this is which, right? This shit. This here refer to the document, because if you take a look at the method here, it's save, right? So this here refer to the document, and this if you change this one to an arrow function, this it will not understand this, so you have to keep the traditional function like this. Remember, don't use arrow function here, right? The purpose of arrow function is like it will like ignore the scope for the function, so that means you don't have this. That belongs to JavaScript. It's not something about Node.js or Mongoose. Also, this here means the query, and inside the query you can do populate, or you can do file1 as well. And all the conditions, like yesterday, all the condition already exist in the query when you define it, when you call it. This is before you actually file, but for some reason, wherever you call it, you may have already have. For example, you do something like this, right? Review.file, for example, and in here you already have some condition. And then you just use refile. So refile here will inherit all the condition. Yeah. So that's why yesterday you can do file1 here. because when we do it, we actually already pass all the condition in there, and then here we just execute it. Right. This chat is so annoying. It's everywhere. Sorry. I don't know how to move it out. It's so annoying, the chat. It's everywhere on my screen. Right. Alright, so that's about the middleware. You will have to do it a couple of times in order to like practice and experience the different. It's also very good to learn how to use this in JavaScript as well. Okay. And what else do I miss here? We have filter, we have pagination, and those are not theory. Okay, let's move on. Today's topic is very interesting. It's about WebSocket, or you can call it real-time application. And in order to build the real-time application, we're gonna use a new protocol called WebSocket. What about the other two types? Yeah, you rarely run into it, Emily, and actually that's not much different though. There's no different, not much different. Let me see the middleware, and in the middleware you have 4 types, right? So you can also have something like this: error rate, for example, model.error rate, right? Error rate is so high, and that's it. And the model middleware is it insert many. So right, you rarely use the two, so I didn't talk about it. Most of the time you're gonna work with these methods. You can also create your own method, and under the hood, those customized methods gonna run these, right? So for example, if you have 2 kinds of user, admin and maybe 3 admin, VIP user and normal user, you're gonna do you can define your own method. For example, file admin or file VIP, right? And it under the hood, inside that method, you're gonna have like user.file, and you have a condition where row equal to admin or row equal to VIP. So that's how you define your own method. Try not to use the pre-file middleware like here, for example. Try not to do this. It's not in here, it should be in user, sorry. For example, in user, you can create, let's go away. You can create your own method, schema dot method. It's not method, it's gonna dot static, and then file admin, for example, right? And in here you're gonna equal function, and this function needs async, right? And in here you're gonna do something like return await user. You don't have user yet, so you're gonna have this. Now this again, you can have this dot file. Inside here you can give an for example condition admin, like that, just like it. Okay, so now whenever you find admin, you can just call this method instead of having to user.file and row admin. Okay, and yesterday, I don't know, I remember Chin, he also added something like this inside his free-file middleware, which is like cause a lot of problem later on and take a lot of time to fix. For example, he put something like this: user schema dot free, and then he's have this file, for example, and he's put everything in here like that. Okay, that also work, but so whenever you run the file middleware, the file method, you restrict to only return the user with the role admin only, but that's not ideal because sometimes you want to find normal user, right? So rather than that, you're gonna use your custom method like this. It's easier. Okay. An instance is it's kind of like something that inherit the parent, the method, and the properties from the class when you give a new value to it. But so for method, you don't do that for method though. That's this time I use static because I want to run this method on my model. For example, it's gonna be like the user. Oh shit! Right? I'm gonna run user find admin. And in here I can pass in any element I want, any right. So when I run this, I can pass in any R. Okay, and if I call it or not, it doesn't matter really. But for instance, for method, you can only use it in the instance. For example, it will inherit, and then so const user equal await, right? And now user will inherit, this user will inherit all the method from mongoose model here. From the mongoose model, for example, you also have a method called generate token, right? So that's different, the basic difference. So keep in mind when you define a method, if you want that method to run on the class itself, you should use static. And if you want that method to be able to run on the to be called by the instance, you're gonna use a normal method, right? I hope I don't break anything. Right, let's move on. Close this. Right, so today's topic is about WebSocket, or you can call it real-time application. Basically, most of the real-time application use WebSocket, right? And inside WebSocket, for WebSocket, we can use different libraries, but I think the most popular one is Socket.io. There's a lot of different tools or library for WebSocket. So WebSocket is something, we'll talk about it later. So we will learn WebSocket and a tool to help us, it's kind of like an interface to help us work with the WebSocket. Also, we will learn how to integrate WebSocket into our front-end and back-end application as well. So today we're gonna go back to React application, and we're gonna work on both ends, right? Front-end and back-end together to create a chat app, right? We also learn how to receive and send data, just like how you call fetch, post and get request, right? So now we will do it in using WebSocket.io. And also the last but not least, to review your React.js knowledge. So don't forget React. Okay, so these are the main 5 things we're gonna learn today. So far, what we've been learning, we've been doing is that we build traditional application, which is a client will send a request to the user, right? A client will send a request to the server, and then the server will respond with some data, and that's it. Like the server cannot like by itself send data to the client without any request from the client, right? If you notice, like your application right now, the server does not have any permission or has no way to send user data to your client side without being called or without being requested, right? So today we're gonna learn WebSocket, and that allows us to have a two-way conversation between client and server. But let's talk about why WebSocket was invented first, right? So the normal HTTP request is kind of like heavy because we have something called headers here, right? A bunch of headers. Inside the header object, there's a bunch of keys. If you take a look, let me show you. Network, and if you take a look at why is there no? Oh my god, no. Right, so can let me remember the movie the movie app from someone. I forgot. What was it? Movie. Oh, maybe this. Nguyên. Let's go with Nguyên. Okay, if you take a look at the network here, I'm going to refresh again. Click on it. So this is a request from the client to the server, right? If you take a look at the headers, there's a bunch of keys here, right? And these key this header object, like usually is about 871 bytes. And if you're sending like a bunch of requests at the same time in a long time, like you keep sending it over and over and over again, you like the server and the client communicate with each other by the HTTP request, right? So for if a user want to send one message, a user will send at least for the header only. This is for only for the header, right? 800 bytes, and then the server will send something back with the same size, about this 800 bytes. What if there's 1,000 user chatting at the same time on your server? So the amount of I mean the quota or the bandwidth will increase a lot. It will consume a lot of bandwidth, and because of that, people invented another protocol called WebSocket in order to reduce the stress on the server or on the connection. And right, okay. Another limitation is that the server will respond to each request statelessly, right? And by that I mean, like I already talked about this earlier. It cannot send the data to the client without being requested from the client at all. So if you don't send a GET request or a POST request or a PUT request, the server has no way to send you something. Those are the two important limitations for a normal HTTP request. So WebSocket is just another protocol on how the computer communicate with each other. That's it. Nothing much, right? Actually, there's a lot going on behind, but you don't need to know all of that in order to use it. It's okay. You learn the tool, learn how to use the tool, but you don't learn the whole tool, right? So this is the the strong points for WebSocket. It's very lightweight and fast. The header only about 2 bytes compared with 871 bytes. So you save a lot of bandwidth, and it can persist between the server and the clients. What I say is like the connection is there. It's like it's only like be terminated by when you close the client, when you close the window on the client side, or when you run some function that to terminate the connection, like to disconnect something. So the connection between client and the server will persist, and by that it will allow the bi-direction communication, right? We have a channel between the client and the server, and then the data will be sending back and forth from client and the back and the server. And last but not least, it is supported by most browser for now, right now. So Safari, Mozilla Firefox, Opera, or Chrome, or Edge, or Internet Explorer, they all support WebSocket. So it's safe to use WebSocket. Okay, do you have any question about these four? No, it's not about React though. Stylishly is like there's no history. We already talked about it. There's no history or there's no memory about the previous request, right? Between the requests, there's no history or there's no memories. There's nothing to remember the previous request. We talk about this for REST API. Okay, but for WebSocket here, we have something that will keep the connection persist between the client and the server, right? So that's different, the main difference. For HTTP request, you send something from the client, the client requests something, and the server respond, and that's it. The connection is terminated after that. But for WebSocket, the connection still persists between the client and the server until either one of them disconnect. Yeah, kind of forever. Yeah, until you decide to disconnect them, right? And by being persistent, so it allows the bi-direction or two-way communication between client and the server, right? So I'm gonna move on. So here's the flow. This is I draw this one. It looks so ugly, but as you can see here, I'm gonna move the face away, right? As you can see here, client A, client B, and client C, A, B, C, they all join the server, and then whenever they join, they're gonna send a a signal that to establish a connection, right? Okay, just like telling the server, hey, create a connection between us, right? Hey, create a connection between us. So the server will create a connection between the client A and the server. So this is kind of like a two-way ongoing conversation, or you can call it a bi-direction connections, right? The same thing goes for B and C. So basically, A and C, they don't communicate with each other, but I mean, like, they don't directly communicate with each other. Instead, they communicate via the server, right? So if A want to talk to C, A need to send the message to the server, and then the server will send it to C. A cannot talk directly to C, right? The same goes for B and as well. So for example, Khan will join the server, and then the server will create a connection between Khan and the server, right? And whenever Khan want to chat with Khai or someone, then she has to send the message to the server, and the server will send the message to Khai. So that's it. That's how it works for WebSocket. Okay. So here's some important notes about WebSocket here. And to keep the WebSocket return, okay. Yeah, of course, the server has to be running. If the server is down, you cannot send anything. And mostly the server will have to be like online 99.99% of the time, like 24 hours a day, 365 days of a year, something like that. There should be no downtime for the server. How does it work with real app? It's not very recent. No, it still work with like that though. It's work like that for real apps. So the server is something you have to keep it running 24 hours a day for the whole year, non-stop. Okay, non-stop. And the client can jump on and off, can disconnect and connect whenever they want. Yeah, right now your server is your personal PC, but in real product, so that's why you deploy it to Heroku, right? If it's your personal PC, you cannot connect with the internet at all. The other clients, for example, cannot connect to your computer. If you use your personal computer as a local server, actually you can, but without a static IP, you cannot do that. So that's why we deploy our app to Heroku, right? Or an online server. All right, nice. So here's some important notes about WebSocket here. Okay, in order, all right, let me show you. In order to establish a connection between client and server, right? So the client needs to send a very special ID, or you just call it a unique ID. So each client will send a unique ID from their client only to the server, and the server will establish a connection using that ID. So for example, this connection have an ID, for example 1, and this connection have another ID, number 2, and this is number 3. So they need to be unique, right? 1, 2, and 3. And using that unique ID, we can identify who is client A and who is client B and who is client C. And then after that, we can send message just to that client. Okay. Just like the ID in your MongoDB. And the event, you have some terms here. The first term is going to be event. So it refers to the events which we want the client and the server to listen for. This one is hard to understand, but let me see. All right. So for example, if you take a look at the code here, for example, these are the event. Connection is the event. Greeting is also an event. So it needs to be a string, right? Connection means like it's a default event for whenever someone join into the server, the client side, the React app will like send an event, say okay, connection, meaning someone join, and then the server will send something back here. The server will send message, welcome to my app, with the event name greeting, like I'm saying something under the event greeting, and then the client have to listen to this event in order to receive the message. So right now it's very hard to imagine, to visualize, but we will dive into the code later. So we have a couple of terms here. Event, you know that. And then emit data. Emit data is just something like you send data, right? Send data mean emit data. In Socket.io they call it emit. And you can see here, emit here, right? Meaning you send something. It can be used for both client and server because these are two-way connections, right? The server can emit any message as well in any event, as well as the client. It can also do the same thing, right? It can also emit greeting back to the server as well. Okay, and emit data, it needs two arguments. The first argument is the event name. The second argument, it could be anything. It could be an array. It could be a function. It could be an object, or could it be a string or a number. But the second argument is the message that we want to, the data that we want to send to the other partner, the other client, right? The other side of the connections. For example, I want to send number 5, so I'm gonna put number 5 in here. I want to send a whole function. I can also put a function right here. Or I want to send an object. I can put an object in here. Okay, basically it's just data. Okay, and listen for an event means like on. You use on here. That means you listen on the event connection. You use on. You listen to the event connection, and whatever you receive, you're gonna socket.on greeting, and that's it. Socket.on greeting, and the second element is gonna be the callback function. So after you listen to the event and you will receive something, for example here you receive some socket, and you can do whatever you want with the socket. For example, you can disconnect them, or you can send back something like emit. You send back something, right? So basically this part is a callback function, and also this is the name of the event, right? So this is for the code example here. Let me see the next slide, right? Here listen for the event connection, and this one is the default event. and then emit data means sending the data to the a different event called reading. So now in your client side, on your client side, you're gonna have you have to listen to this event. For example, socket dot on, and then the first argument is gonna be reading. The second argument is could be in a function like this, and a function will have an argument, and that argument is gonna be the data, right? Just something like this. It's kind of remind me how we pass payload. Yes, somehow. Kind of, yeah. Okay, this code is on the back end side, and this one is on the front end side. Same thing, you have something called socket.on, and then you have to listen to the event reading, right? And then you will receive this one is going to be a function, a callback function, and this function will receive the message. You can name it differently, you can name it anything, you can name it hello here, and then just a name for the variable. It doesn't matter what name you define it as, right? So now you can construct the message that was sent from the server, just like that. Yay! So today we're gonna build a very simple app, chat app with both React and Node.js at the same time. Okay, like do you like? Oh shit! Let me show you what we're gonna do today first. So hard to move this one. All right. Go away. Right. I think this one. For example, today we're gonna build something like this. Don't worry about the chat room here. We're gonna have the chat room here. We're gonna chat on this room, default room. So basically, originally I only wanted to build a chat app without a database, right? So you can only chat without, like, the server will not record anything. But then again, I think like it's better to show you guys how to use WebSocket with a database. So I increase it, I upgraded the material a little bit. So basically you can join room Google here, and you guys can go here and chat with me as well. Go here, enter your name, click on that link and join Google. Is it Snapchat doesn't like store any message? I saw can join and chat something. Yeah, I have never used Snapchat. Yeah. Okay, Can Nhân Hưng has joined the room, right? And hello. Oh, all right. So when I chat, I see hello here, right? Okay. So everyone join, and you guys can chat here. So this one is a version without a database. We also have another version. All right, I saw someone J. Hello, Koi. And we also have a will the chat log be kept in the way? No, it will not. Let me refresh here. See, everything is gone. Everything is gone. It's not saved into the database. But we also have another version. This one actually saved the data. Right. Oh shit. Yeah. So this is the chat room with the database. Totally different, right? So basically, you can save the data here. But let's do this tomorrow. This part tomorrow. Today we're gonna do this one. Just this screen here. Look at my mouse here. Only this part. All right. You can see people joining or leaving. You can see the chat, who is chatting. Yeah, when I joined, I didn't see River. I said yes, me. All right. So enough about this shit. Let's talk about how we do it. Okay, let's talk about how we do it. Do you see your face here, guys? Yesterday, Young said he can. What? Oh, I think only like after I record. Oh, okay. So that's why. And I have the chat window on the left side, and the face is like 6 faces on the right side. That's take up all the screen. Right. So yeah, I have too many things on my screen. All right. So here's the flow for our app. Right. The first step, the client A, B, and C will connect to the server, just like the previous picture, right? Nothing new. And then, when client A say hello, client A here will send a message, hello world, to the server, right? And the server will create, basically, there's already the 3 connection between the server and the 3 clients already. So server will broadcast a message called user A said hello world to all 3 clients. So all 3 clients will receive the same message. User A said hello world, right? So this could be an object. It should not be a string, but it should be an object. But I say as a string here so that you can understand. So broadcast here means like there will be a layer difference between emit, broadcast, and one more thing I forgot, but they all means different thing. For broadcast, you broadcast to everyone, like you sending message to everyone. Emit, you only send emit to like emit mean only send the data to the client, the client that we establish the connection between. For example, if I use emit here, mean the server will only send a message to client A. But if I use broadcast, it means I send everything, the message to everyone. Okay. So this second step, client A say hello, and then the server broadcasts that message hello to everyone. And then after everyone receive the message, for example, B and C here receive the message hello, hello world from A, then they will send the message hello A or hi A, and by then the server will receive it. And just broadcast again. B say hello A, C say hi A. It's very simple if you understand the flow, right? So that's why I draw. I took a lot of time for me to draw this sheet. All right. I think that's it for today. So today we're gonna do something like this. Instead of saying hello or broadcasting hi A, we also do more additional stuff. For example, we send the message whenever a user join the chat room, for example, right? For example, just now, for example, this guy here, who the hell is this? This guy here joined the server, and I should have if you were chatting, you should receive a message here say someone's has just joined, just like before. For example here, I don't have it here, but we will have something say if someone joined the server, you will have a notification say someone joined or someone left. Okay. Okay, let's do it though. But do you have any question right now about the theory or the flow? We will take a short break and then move on to the lab. Only the server can broadcast, or only the server can broadcast. Like as I said before, there is no way for client A to talk directly to client C, right? So client A has to send a message to the server, and then the server will say broadcast. Broadcast in English means like to send to everyone, right? So the server will broadcast that message to all the clients. Okay, all the clients. So that's why you say broadcast, and only the server can broadcast. Yes. server yes. Yeah, even if we chat one-on-one, we still go through server, yes. So that's why when the server is down, you cannot chat with another person at all. Okay, and that is how the server store your message. If you can chat one-on-one, client A can chat with client C without going through the server, how can the server store the history, the chat history, right? And for this kind of application, chat, for example, it's very good if you use MongoDB comparing to instead of SQL, Postgres, or MySQL. Right. Any questions? I think this looks so ugly. But I cannot find any or illustration. So we're gonna write something like this on both React and Node.js. So let's create your application, React application first, and also another Node.js application. Create a new React app and Node app, right? So during the break, I suggest you guys to open your terminal and create a new React app and Node app, and then just leave. Let the computer do all the work, and you can take a break. And then after that, when we come back, we're gonna WebSocket Wednesday. Is it Wednesday today? Yeah. So we're gonna set up the connection, and I will show you how. Okay, and the way we set up the backend server is a little bit different from how we've been doing. So you can just just do npm init and that's it. Just leave it there. I will show you the next step. Right. For client side, you're gonna do npm install as well. You have to install this package, in order to use the Socket.io. So we're going to use Socket.io here, and if you want to create a document on Socket.io, it's going to be like this. Here, Socket.io. Socket.io is very famous, and you can use it on different framework or different language. It supports, let me see, resource. So you can use it in different language and framework. It doesn't have to be Node.js. So here are the the companies that are using Socket.io. Using Socket.io, you can send notification. For example, notification for a web browser. For example, someone just send you a message or send you an email. You can have a notification right here, right? So you can also create a how do you say an email service, online email service as well. Like you can clone Gmail. Actually, you can clone Gmail. I bet you can clone Gmail. Oh, that's also a good final project idea. You can clone Gmail. But it's not very graphical because there's no selling point for that. It just show how good you are in coding. It doesn't like show how good you are in real world application. So actually you can clone a Gmail. Basically the user will have to create an account or their email account, and then they can send message, can send email to each other on your platform. And they can also receive a notification as well. They can receive a notification when the new another user send you an email. It's real time, right? They don't have to refresh the page. That's just my idea just now, right? I'm gonna leave you guys like, we will start at 12, right? We will have 1 hour and 10. No. What time do you want we to resume? Let's say, yeah, sorry. So let me take a look here. So you can do these on yourself if take a 40-minute break to complete milestone 1 and 2. If you cannot, I will show you how to do it, right? It just take like 20 or 30 minutes. Yeah, 10-minute break. Okay, 10-minute break. Nice. 10-minute break. Start now. Come back at 11, guys.